Ain't so far from the bottom, couldn't even see the top.
Automation QA has recently been all the rage. I, however, don't see automation as value added in my current company. It is a fast growing small company. I have an MBA and I don't see much business value in automation in small growing organizations, which have lots of moving parts. On top of that, it doesn't even pay well. And there is a lack of respect and recognition both for manual and 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 automation QA. Companies consider these as non-essential and good to have. I'm thinking to move to Salesforce developer jobs. These are essential to business and pay extremely well. Well, my friend, Salesforce developer jobs do pay extremely well. Um, I hope that your code is I hope you have a good time learning the Salesforce language. While valuable as it is kind of proprietary to Salesforce. So I would say do your research before jumping into anything to see what is the demand for it. But to answer your question about not seeing any value in your current company or in any or in a small growing organization, I would say you, my friend, are entirely wrong. I think that the most valuable thing that you could do at a small and fast growing company is start automation early. So, why do I say that? What happens is
Message.
at small companies that are, especially if they're fast growing, you might have 4 or 5 developers and 1 QA, and they are pushing changes all the time. It's impossible to keep up. Now, if you want your small company to fail right away, you're going to release code that is untested and that is very flaky. Like, let's say you give it about, let's say you're doing Scrum, right? I'm guessing at a small, fast growing company, you're using Agile, you're using Scrum. Let's say at this small, fast growing company that you guys are pushing out code to do your MVP and it is going. Within, I would say 3 sprints. In 3 sprints, it's impossible for you to do testing. Like, so let's say we have, I'm gonna go low. I'm gonna say, let's say you have 3 developers, right? You're the only QA. And let's say your velocity is about 20, I'll go with 20 points, right? So that's let's say we average the stories for about 5 points. So that's 4 stories in a sprint. And they all have, and it could be more because let's say you can have some 2 point stories, you can have some 3 point stories, you can have some 5 point, whatever it is. But let's do it easy. We'll say 4, right? Easy math. 4 sprints, or 4 stories in a sprint. So by 3 sprints, that is 12 stories. So that's 12 different stories that touch the code that are 5 point stories. So they're not like minimal stories. They're like significant changes that's happening to the code base. Um, you're not going to be able to keep up with the testing within 3 sprints, and you're going to wish. I mean, I don't know how it's working for you now, but like,
Message.
if like when I start working on a new project, the first thing I start looking, okay, what are we working on? What can I start to automate? What are the API tests? What are the developers like? What are the UI? What are the API? Oh my goodness gracious! What are the What are the unit tests that the developers are writing? Where are my opportunities for API tests? What type of integration tests are we going to do from the very beginning? And then like I'm like, okay, what are the UI tests? Because if you wait till you're like 3 sprints, 4 sprints, 10 sprints in, the MVP's released, you're gonna be playing catch up. Your code, like I guarantee it. I guarantee it that your code is going to be buggy. All right. So that's how I see it. Like you're gonna have buggy code, and now to address, you have an MBA and you don't see much business value of automation in small growing organizations which have a lot of moving parts. Um, is that a like how you feel about it, or did you do some type of analysis of automation in small growing companies to see like whether it brings value or not? Like I just explained, I think that starting off with automation early for a small company is like the best thing that you can do to get your to get running off the ground. You don't have like you well like you can verify that your um software is working with good quality, and you don't have to play a guessing game. And now you as a QA person who signed off, you as a QA person who signed off that the software is properly working because you only tested the new changes, but you didn't go back and test the existing changes. You didn't do any regression testing. You didn't do any regression testing. You didn't do regression testing. So now you got a bug that could have easily been prevented. It creeps up into production. And now you look like the, yeah, that's what you look like. So I don't know. I don't have to tell you. You tell me if you find it valuable or not. Lastly, on top of that, really, really. So on top of that, it doesn't even pay well. And there's a lack of respect and recognition for both manual and automation QA. Companies consider these as non-essential and good to have. I don't know. I just don't know what you're talking about. I think that maybe if how do I say this in a nice way? Maybe that your lack of respect and recognition is a you problem and not a manual and QA automation problem. If you feel that you were not shown respect and recognition for the work that you do, um, maybe you should check your quality of work. To be honest with you, I think companies QA is the last line of defense for companies, and while let's say they're cutting down on manual QA because they're implementing automation, so they can have more test coverage on a more consistent basis with less chance of human error. That's what companies are looking for. So if you are holding on to manual testing for any particular reason, um, I mean, I think you're doing yourself a disservice. You should advance your skills, learn more, and bring value to your team. So I don't know any company that considers QA to be non-essential. It might consider having 1,000 offshore QA testers who manually go through test cases non-essential, but it definitely considers QA engineers to be essential, and that's why there are a lot of QA engineers, senior QA engineers, um, and up, right? Software developers and tests who have employment in the US and they're not outsourced. So take it for what you want. If you want to become, if you want to move to a Salesforce developer job that is essential to business, which not all businesses even use Salesforce, but if that's what you want to do, because Salesforce has competitors, believe it or not. I mean, I know they're huge, but they have competitors. So, you know, if you want to do that, by all means, I wish you the best. But I think you're totally and utterly wrong with your assessment.
If you enjoyed the fascinating information shared in this video and you want more, be sure to hit the subscribe button to Tech Coach Ralph to be notified for new videos.